Hi, I'm Sophie Newbold, a senior business legal consultant at Lawhive and at Setfords in the United Kingdom. Just sharing with you today a set of slides to help those of you who are on the receiving end of a money claim via the Ministry of Justice's, His Majesty's Court and Tribunal Service. Quite a few issues have been brought up whilst I've been consulting with these practices for the last, say, 4 months. I'm seeing quite a few people in distress. They're getting, easy summary judgments against them because they were unable to defend their claim properly due to lack of clear instructions. What looks like from His Majesty's Court and Tribunal Service, but also looking at it myself, fundamentally, there is a real sadness that the small claims court online isn't actually fit for purpose, in my view. Bit of feedback to the Ministry of Justice. The process is unbelievably complex. There is very, very poor instructions to receivers, and they are not entitled to any sort of legal costs claims as part of the process, and any failing to adhere to the process can obviously lead to penalties against the offending party. So I just want to go through to help those in the defence position, just hopefully just give them some clarity of thought when looking at your claim, because I'm involved in about 5 of these at the moment, and I'm really shocked at the frustration I'm feeling as a legal representative. I've got very, very limited, if none, functionality on the platform, whereas I was told that the defendant would have had full functionality. But I had no idea that was the case before I took representations. All these small things are building up into what seems to be a complete injustice, full stop, in the system. Defending and counterclaiming a money claim online. First of all, understanding your claim. What is the court you're dealing with here? If it's a money claim, there's this special kind of quick resolution type service online. Sounds wonderful. Money claim online, civil money claims, quick and simple ways for those who are owed money to make their claims. The problem is that all the traditional support in terms of guidance, if you are you're individually representing yourself, you're relying on what the courts are going to tell you, or the Her Majesty's Courts and Tribunal Service is going to tell you on how to progress and take your claim, your defence. And telling defendants that this support generally doesn't really feel like it's out there for you. They've changed the process, but the support hasn't followed in terms of guidance, instructions. Far, far, far too many assumptions on the public to think that they know what they should be doing. The language, I've got a lot of recommendations that could be forwarded to the Ministry of Justice here. This is a live legal process. Once you've got this claim from the court system, you're actually well into the live process. The clock is ticking. It's not a warning. So failure to respond could result in a default judgment against you. That is the threat. And whilst the public on the whole will not know that, they will not know that, especially in the way that the letters are coming in. They have no red ink on them, as far as I could see. There was no sense of this being anything but a kind of just a standard letter, sort of it just hasn't got the seriousness attached to the letter, and obviously the system is allowing more and more of these claims to be made. The claim should include and the claim itself isn't actually with the letter, it's online. The defendant has to go and find those however many hours it's going to take to work out how the hell to log into the platform to then read whatever the claim is against them. And I've seen the platform and the way these claims come in. It's just not user friendly at all. But the claim should include the details, the particulars, and the deadline for response. But that's the other point. It says the deadline for response. It doesn't say what types of responses the defendant can make. I really feel for the defendant because it doesn't say anything about acknowledgement of service and an extension of another 14 days. It doesn't say anything about the fact that if you need even longer than 28 days, you can make that application with an N244 via a lawyer. Now, the point is here is even if the defendant doesn't know that, they don't extend their for another extra 14 days, which is a decent amount of time. And it's not even clear to the lawyer in these money claims that the extension acknowledgement of service is available, and you haven't even got any functionality on the platform. And there's nothing to talk about submitting a defence. There's nothing talking about acknowledging service. What's that? I'm printing off and posting. I've got no choice. Step 1 then, acknowledge the service. It's the most important part. I only think this is available because of the information that I've got from the internet. I really, really do not know if it is available. I'll be God's honest truth with you, because there's nothing on the letter to the defendant about it. There's nothing. It talks about a response. Doesn't talk about acknowledgement of service. Plus, there's nothing in the portal about submitting an acknowledgement of service. Really, if acknowledgement of service does apply to a money claim, it's a really unbelievably fundamental part of the process that has been somehow erased from view for the public. I'm saying to the public, let's get it in. Let's give it a go. If you're a defendant, make sure you serve your acknowledgement of service within the first 14 days. If it doesn't apply, then I apologise. But if it does apply and you're not told about it, let's have a little think about that, shall we? So when you've acknowledged the service, you've got your extra 28 days. And if you want to extend further, you get a lawyer, get an N244 in. You're now thinking defend, but now you've got to think counterclaim as well. 28, 14. So that's the defence bit, okay? Key points around addressing your particular, the claim is going to be identified at particulars of claim that you need to understand. Again, if you haven't got a lawyer, be sensible with the internet. State the points you admit, deny, and require proof of. So where the claimant has failed to identify or evidence their claim, identify that. You require more evidence. Provide factual. Key to facts is a chronology of events of start to finish as to surrounding the situation of the dispute, and really giving the judge a very, very clear picture of what's happened in an extremely short amount of time, 28. Display your chronology of events, which are your facts, with supporting evidence, which are your exhibits, in a way that someone who's a complete stranger to your case can get it like that. The judge has no time, so help him and her by giving them the one sheet wonder, you know. That's your defence, but you put all the work in behind the defence to come up with the kind of the final product. That to me is, and if you can keep it reduced in size, chances are you probably could get it in on email, and always put your evidence, but also your statement of truth. Step 4, you're a defendant, but you really now have a chance to bring a counterclaim. Have you got one? Have you got grounds for a claim against the claimant? And it's really important, because when you start looking at the facts and the evidence, you might start to see big holes in what their claim is. And actually, A, you can defend it well, but B, hang on a minute, you owe me. You think I owe you X. Nah, I think you owe me Y. But those two ingredients then are setting you up for hopefully a settlement out of court, which that really has to be the best solution. Even Jesus says, settle your disputes before you get to the court, because by the time you got to the court and the judge makes the judgment, you don't know who is putting basically chains on your wrists and your ankles and taking you down to the prison. And that's the point. You don't want to get to the point of out of control. If you can get engaged with the other side as quickly as possible. But I would say do that after having drafted your defence and counterclaim and got them in. But on the back of that, that is the time for the parties to really try to work together to sort it out. You do not want to go to court and lose control over your terms between each other. And also that takes the pressure off the court, because clearly the system is allowing ever increasing claims, especially with data protection now. It's just the floodgates are open. And filling and filing. Key tips for success, just summarising what I've gone through. Acknowledge the service promptly. Once, as soon as you've got your claim in, you acknowledge to the court you've got it. Don't miss the deadline, which will be 14 days from whenever that claim was issued. Stay factual and avoid emotional language. While I use emotional language all the time as a person, whenever I write something down for the client or for myself in a legal situation, it is not got any emotion in it, no opinions in it. It's just fact and evidence. Very, very important. The more evidence and stronger evidence you have, the better probably chances you have of succeeding in your defence counterclaim. Stay factual and avoid emotion. All your evidence, preserve it, organise it. And if you are bringing a counterclaim, there is going to be some risks around that. So if you're bringing a counterclaim with limited prospects of success for whatever reason, there could be risks that you might have obligations, liabilities by the court if you lose, right? And even if you have a high prospect of success, there's still a risk of losing. And also if the other side win or lose, it might not necessarily mean you get all the claim that you've made. It'll be subject to what the judge says and what you've actually put down in your forms. So it's good to put the chronology of events, the evidence in. You've also got to remember what it is you're actually claiming. So a value, an action, a restriction, stopping something. Okay, and seek legal advice if you're not sure. So I've given you a few chunks of, some golden nuggets, I hope, to help if you receive one of these sort of online money claims. But obviously I'm here at Law Hive or Setford's. I'm sure you can find me on LinkedIn mainly, or via the firms themselves. Ask for me, and I'd be delighted to help you through this.